Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy, I want to wish you a happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too, Bill.
Yeah, it's a long weekend, and it's a weekend for families, and it's a weekend for people to reunite.
Mm-hmm.
And again, one of the first rites of spring, as we know here in the Carolinas. We've had, I don't know how many guests over the past 9 years that have come through this studio. Who
Countless.
Well, how many do you think off? I don't know.
I don't know.
Military families, people who have moved into Moore County and have moved out of Moore County. Quite a few.
We have lots.
Yeah, a lot of people who live here who have really gotten themselves, involved in the community, in volunteer groups, some of the nonprofits, where they take an active role, and there are networks of people who have moved here who have formed circles, social circles, and they've made a life for themselves.
Yes.
And I've been in the real estate business here for 19 years now, and I've seen people come and I've seen people go, and we kind of expect it as a matter of course, and it's just part of the demographic shifts that are going on in Moore County. But even though I see it all the time, it doesn't mean I'm immune to it. And I've got some friends who are here with me, Nico Meissen and Dave Meissen, who are friends, who moved here, I'm going to say four years ago, about this time of the year, maybe I think in June, 4 years ago. And I met them. And we're going to be speaking with both of them today, and we're going to be talking about their stay here. Dave and Nico have moved around quite a bit around the world.
I'm sure.
And when they moved here to Southern Pines, I remember back on the day of closing. It was in the village of Pinehurst. And I finally got a chance to meet their 2 wonderful kids, Alex and Emma. And I took the 2 of them and we walked over to the village deli, where we had breakfast while Mom and Dad went in and signed their closing papers. Well, Emma was more than comfortable to do it. Alex, not so much. Alex is a couple of years older. He's 14 today, and he's a freshman at Pinecrest. And Emma is 12 years old and a 6th grader at St. John Paul. And we ordered pancakes, and we sat and we talked, and Alex just wanted his chocolate pancakes. Didn't need to talk to me. He just wanted chocolate. Emma, meanwhile, grilled me. She was very comfortable in her own skin, and I have pictures still on my phone of that breakfast. And then when we finished eating, we went back and we either met Mom and Dad at the attorney's office or they came over to the village deli. But in my thinking, I thought that this family was going to be here for the long haul. And I think they thought they were going to be here for the long haul. And sometimes life gets in the way. And they are now at a point where they're going to be moving to Anchorage, Alaska.
Ooh.
And, me, I'm kind of sad about it. I think I'm going to go to Anchorage at some point here in the next year or so. And maybe Emma and Alex can take me out for pancakes if I show up.
For sure.
And I want to introduce Nico and Dave. And first of all, thank you both for being willing to come in and speak with us and to share your story. Nico, just in the last 2 months, because your husband has already been in Anchorage for a couple of months, we sold your house. You sold your house.
We did.
And you actually went through the entire transition by yourself.
Yep.
And you moved into a condo here in Pinehurst for a couple of months until the kids are out of school.
Correct.
Was it tough transition?
It was my first time by myself, so I didn't know exactly what I have to do,
Yeah.
but it went okay, I think.
Everything got packed up and is put in storage. And this is not the first time both of you have been faced with a move.
Oh no, this is our 8th.
It's it'll be Anchorage will be Nico's 9th location, and it'll be my 10th.
Is that right?
Yep.
And you have 22 years of experience. You're a colonel in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
You're an engineer.
Yep.
9 moves.
Yes. Yeah. This will be the 9th move.
Well, for you, for me, I guess 8,
Yeah.
without counting England, but yeah.
How many years have you guys been married?
17 years this year.
And 8, let's say 8 moves in 17 years.
Just a few.
So are you like professional gypsies, vagabonds?
I thought that was the term I was going to use.
Oh, was it?
Yes, I guess we do joke. We say, we're professional gypsies at times. It's been an incredible opportunity at times. You get to live in a lot of different places. A lot of places we wouldn't have an opportunity to otherwise, and so you get to meet a lot of great people. Eventually, we're going to have to hang our hats, with the military service, but it's been good so far. Been a great opportunity. So we definitely want to settle down. We're just not sure where it's going to be, and we've definitely enjoyed living in the Southern Pines area. It's been wonderful.
Nico might be pushing for New York City. I'm not sure.
That would be nice.
I'm not sure we could afford it.
Yeah.
Tell me,
Maybe 1 month.
the 8. Tell me all the places you've lived in the 8 moves
Well,
from the beginning.
Okay, so I started off. I'm from Illinois originally. My first duty station was in Holloman, New Mexico, and so it's sort of south central New Mexico, a couple hours from El Paso, Texas. From there, I moved to England. I was stationed at RAF Alconbury, near Cambridge, England, and that's where Nico and I met. And we dated for a couple of years, and I somehow tricked her into marrying me. And I took her to Ohio.
Was it her Brooklyn accent that won you over?
That's you could say Brooklyn, but it's, I was very much yes. I liked her accent very much, among her many other wonderful qualities.
Yeah, it's not gonna go anywhere. My accent.
So you are a native of Italy.
Yeah.
And you met in England.
Yes.
What were you doing in England at the
I was
time?
working. So after college, I found a very cool job in Cambridge, near Cambridge. And so actually it was like a 3-year contract. And then I had to think about if I want to renew it. And I wasn't sure because I did miss Italy. But I decided to renew it. And it was like December 98. And then I met him in January, 29th January, 1999.
So you moved from England. You came to the States, and continue on the journey with all the 8 stops.
So from England we moved to Ohio. I was stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. We stayed there a couple of years, and then we had an opportunity to move to Italy, near where Nico was from.
Aviano.
So we went to Aviano, which is an hour away from where Nico grew up. So that was wonderful. We got to spend some time with her parents, and our son Alex was born in Ohio, and Emma was born in Italy.
I didn't know that. She was born in Italy?
Yeah, she was born in January, 6 months before leaving Italy.
Yeah.
But she was born in Italy.
Oh, we're going to come back to that because now I know where her spirit comes from. I did not know that. She was born not stateside.
In Sacila.
Yep. So yeah, she was born at the American Hospital in Italy.
Okay.
So yep. So after Italy, we went to Korea for a couple of years. We were at Osan Air Base.
Jeez.
And after Osan, we went to St. Louis. We were at Scott Air Force Base, and from there to Florida, we were at Eglin Air Force Base. From Florida to Mississippi, Columbus, Mississippi, and then from Columbus to here.
Okay.
And I was at Fort Bragg for a few years.
And I remember our very first phone call, and you were in Mississippi. And I remember Emma, who's now 12, in the background, chattering and talking, and you said to me, just wait till you meet Emma.
She asked for a pool. She wanted a swimming pool. Do you remember?
Yes, and she got on the phone, and she had to put in her, because she had moved with you all. I mean, Alex and Emma grew up moving around all their lives. In all the moves that you made, did you think that when you finally made another move that was going to be a permanent move?
No.
No.
Maybe this one. Yeah, we thought.
We'd heard good things about this area, and so you always think that it could be the place you want to stay, and so this was a very nice place. I mean, we've enjoyed Southern Pines and being in North Carolina.
We were approaching to. I mean, he was approaching to retirement, so it could have been a possibility, and we did try.
Yeah, we talked. So.
Do you, in the back of your minds, I mean, you've both gotten to a point where you're, because as your kids get older, don't the moves become harder?
Yes.
Yes, they become more complicated.
Yeah.
Yes, the kids, it's easy for them to move the first few years. It's very easy to make friends, and they're wonderful kids, but the friendships strengthen, and that it just becomes harder. We've had lots of discussions about moving, and they're good at making friends though, and it's with technology today, it's easier to stay in contact with the friends you already have, and we've talked about how we've been able to stay in contact with the friends we've had at various places in our lives, and they'll be able to do that as well. And so they're not giving up friends; they're just they're going to make some more.
That's right. I would venture to say that sometimes, as much as they get themselves solidified here, and then change comes up, that they could fear it a little bit, but it is going to make them, in the long term, in the big picture, more adaptable adults, easier. I mean, it doesn't feel that way right now, does it, for them?
It's more Alex, I guess, because high school, it's a bit difficult. But sometimes Alex talks about, the willingness in seeing new places later on when he's going to be older. So I think there is a bit of traveling bag in both of them. Yeah,
they're, how to say, they've been very, very good so far and strong. And so, you're asking a difficult question, and I think we're sort of circling it. But we'll take one step at a time, and you continue to, as a family, you look out for each other. So.
I grew up. Go ahead, Nico.
No, I'm just thinking. Now they know, what moving is, and I think they put a lot of thinking. And for Emma, she's got a few, deep friendships. So that's, hard.
She does, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
She's got two sisters at least here. Her, Brianna and Opie.
Yeah, but the number is growing.
Yeah. Well, she's a very social person, and they both have great personalities, although they're different. But both great. I remember being a freshman in high school, and I grew up at a time, Dave, like your dad would tell you, we didn't even think about moving. We lived in a town. We grew up in a school system. And when you're a freshman in high school, the world is your you're the universe, and everything else around you is just sort of like a planet around you. And it's all about the kids, not about the parents, although, of course, the parents have a different perspective. But to be uprooted would have been... Do you remember what it was like when you were a freshman in high school? How could you be uprooted?
Yes, I didn't have that perspective. I moved a couple of times when I was a kid, but it was just I was in the Midwest. I mean, Illinois and Missouri, and I think I was in 7th grade was the last time I moved, so I remember it. But yes, it's clouded with time. So.
Yeah, and now so you moved to Anchorage ahead of your family. You've been there for how long now?
I moved there into September, but I had to go away for training for a bit in November, December. So we'll really say, I got there into December, and that's when I've stayed there.
Observations?
It's a neat place. Alaska is a huge state. It's beautiful. A lot of wonderful outdoors activities to do. I mean, hiking, camping, skiing, cross country and downhill skiing. So it's gonna be neat. We can get into fishing.
Okay.
I think the kids are gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a fair bit to do there.
And right now, you're looking at a certain time frame for sure that you're going to be there. Do you know what that time frame is?
Well, the goal is to be there for Alex to finish high school. So
Three more years.
3 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And from there, you kind of wait and see. You've been 22 years in the Air Force,
Mm-hmm.
but you're only in your 40s.
Yep.
I mean, you could. To me, it's amazing that people get to retirement age at such a young age in the military.
Well, yes, but you depart the military and you need to work on your second career. So it's I'm not going to knock the military pension. It's wonderful, but we'll need to do something else.
Right.
And so it gives me time to prepare and figure out what am I going to be when I grow up.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Nico, when you met Dave in England, you got married. You probably had these thoughts of stability, like, we're going to raise a family, we're going to live in a specific area.
Yeah, I didn't think through. I thought, I don't know. Did we talk about? I don't remember. I mean,
we talked about it in generalities, and we'd have to decide upon a place to live, and
I don't remember. I just remember talking about deployment. You know, you telling me, there is the possibility for me to go and you be by yourself. But yeah, it's been good. I mean, I saw so many places that I would have not seen otherwise. So it's been good. There is the good and the bad, and
I want to come back in the second set, and I want to open up and talk to you about the circle of friends that you've built up in Moore County that actually emanated from Italy.
yes.
That there are many subcultures here in Moore County that a lot of people aren't even aware of, and the military has added a tremendous amount of texture to the type of people who are living here.
Mm-hmm.
We're speaking with Dave and Nico Meissen. They've been residents of Southern Pines for the last 4 years. We are hating to see them go, but go they must, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about some of the transitions that not only do they face, but some of the younger families who come here also face, and it's just part and parcel of being a member of the military. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our second set. We're talking with Dave and Nico Meissen all show, and we're talking about their transition away from Southern Pines and their many moves as a family, and as their kids get older, sometimes the challenges of being in the military change. I don't know if it's a stability, but you have to always accommodate changes, don't you, Nico?
Yes. Always be ready
Always
for
be
the next step.
But you, in the 4 years that you've been here,
Mm-hmm.
you've gone a long way towards making a lot of friends and forming social circles.
I wouldn't say a lot of friends,
You can only have a few, right?
To be honest, in the beginning, it's been hard because every place that I moved, I had the neighborhood or the base, both, school. And so when I moved over here, the neighborhood, it was different. More older people, less kids. The school, well, in Mississippi, both the kids were going to a private school, and I did a lot of volunteering over there.
Yeah.
There was the base. I was involved with the base. But so over here, all these things, were missing. So I do a little bit of CrossFit.
Yep.
So I get to know a few people through CrossFit. Then I got to know Francesca. You
Right.
introduced me to Francesca. I'm Italian. She's Italian.
Yes.
And then actually after maybe, actually 1 year, she got to know other Italians. So we got to know
Right.
more Italians. And so that became became my closest friends.
Right. And Francesca, who you mentioned, she and her husband just moved
They
from
just moved,
James
yeah.
Creek in Southern Pines to New York City.
Yes.
And what a transition that is
Yes.
with 3 young kids.
Yes. Very small kids. Yes.
But your circle it has got to be so wide now wherever you travel. I mean, you're going to go up to New York City in a couple of months. You'll be seeing her, and
Yes.
you'll keep that friendship for many, many years.
Yeah, that's the good part. And, through email, Facebook, WhatsApp,
Right.
you name it, all the social media, it's very easy to stay in touch, if you want to.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a good part, Every place, in the end, you get to know many people,
Right.
but then you stay in touch with really few. But
Right.
that's okay, that's fine.
There's a good chance in 20 years you and Francesca will be in touch regardless of where you're
I
both
hope so,
living.
I'm still in touch, obviously, with my friends from college. So every time that I go back to Italy, I get in touch with them, and I'm still in touch with some of the people that I used to work in Cambridge because of social media. It's easy.
Your kids did get involved in their schools with their friends, and they did create a lot of social networks. Alex is a soccer player, and Emma has a strong group of girlfriends.
From school, yeah.
From school.
And then a couple from gymnastics, maybe one.
Yeah.
So definitely more Emma than Alex. But she's a girl, he's a boy.
Right.
How, they relate to the peers is a bit different.
Has your coaching with your kids caught you by surprise in terms of their reaction to the transition? Has it been difficult or easy to communicate? Have they been open about them looking forward to moving to Alaska, or expressing fears about the transition?
I think
David?
It hits them at different times.
Yeah.
I think for Emma it was immediate reaction, and Alex internalized for a little while, and then
Right.
he's talked to us about some concerns, frustrations, and then about some of the things he's looking forward to and opportunities. So he needed time to digest it, and Emma as well. But it just their immediate reactions were different, and
Yeah.
that's what you expect. You expect every kid to be unique. So
Yeah. Alex was the one, when we got to know we were on vacation in Italy, it was the one that really want to go, It's going to be
Alaska,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, a good experience. And
Right.
it's been up and down, yeah.
Yeah, I guess time to
Up
think
and
about it
downs,
and
yeah.
second guess and
Well, we're
yeah.
approaching, and
Yeah.
then we sold the house, we move in a condo, everything gets real.
Right.
So,
And it's
yeah.
interesting, the couple that purchased your house were moving here from Anchorage.
yes.
Yes.
So you and the young man who purchased the home were actually stationed in Anchorage at the same time since last September or October.
Yes,
Not even
yes.
knowing each other.
I know, and so so we've met. We met the other couple, and
Matt and Cheslin.
Matt and Cheslin, and it was interesting. They were talking about their experiences, and they found out they were going to Alaska, and Cheslin was quite upset at first. I think she said she didn't speak to Matt for about a week,
Only a week?
and
Yeah, she
but then
cried.
it was then it was hard to leave, and that's how we've found
Right.
most every place we've been. I
Yes.
mean, Columbus, Mississippi, I'll be honest, wasn't the highest place on our list of places we'd wanted to go. But once we got there, we met a
cried.
lot of good friends, and it was hard to leave. But every place is what you make of it, and
Yes.
so that's if you go in like that, then you have a good time, and you make a lot of good friends wherever you go.
I remember very distinctly when you and I first met, Dave. Nico was still in Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd come up here on a scouting trip looking for a home and looking in the neighborhoods. And you and I spent a good amount of time together. eyeballing different properties in different neighborhoods. And first time I met Nico, it was on your, you Skyped her or you were on FaceTime. And I was talking to this electronic image of this very pretty woman who was making some faces into the camera. And I thought, oh boy, I said, she's very expressive. I said, we're going to always know how she feels.
Oh, yeah.
And as you were scanning the home, and I thought to myself, wow, this is how a family who moves all the time, this is how they have to do it. They couldn't be together. But I loved the way the two of you communicated. And you know, we get to be in a situation sometimes where we can see how couples communicate. And you both listen to one another, but you were scanning different homes and trying to get impressions. And I don't recall if you had come up and seen the home that you did eventually purchase first. Yes, you did.
Yes.
Okay, so you came up. It was a second trip.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I came in. He came a few days before me because you had the interview.
Yes. So I came up a few days before, and then Nico came towards the last 3 days. I think I stayed a week, and she came up for 3 days because we worked that arrangement to have somebody, some friends with our kids, and so
that's right.
So I drove up, she flew in, and then after you and I narrowed it down to just a couple homes, then Nico came up and
it was
she
Emma
helped
and
me
Alex
make the final decision.
That's
right.
I didn't get to meet the kids until
Yes.
they came up for the closing.
In,
Yep.
Mississippi.
So a couple of years ago, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, we had a radio show right here, and we had Abby and Titus Lopez. We had Alex and Emma. We had Mason Roth and her brother, and we were talking about schools and this and that. And in the 9 years that I've been doing the show, and it'll be almost 10 years now in August, I put a picture on the table. Alex was a little reticent. He was a little quiet. He was more observing than he was participating. Emma was sort of like the poker card dealer at the table, dealing the cards, stimulating the conversation. It all went through her. And the picture that I have, and I'm going to post this picture on the podcast because it captures her spirit. And, you know, she is... she's a one-of-a-kind young lady. She's got some pizzazz, huh?
She does. Yes. And hopefully she's not going to lose it.
Adolescence should be a blast.
It has been so far for both of them. So they're good kids.
And Alex did get in there, and he's very bright. And you need to say this. He's an honor student, very mature for his age. And both your kids are examples of good parenting because they can go into school, into the environment, and they can weather whatever storm is there, and they are trained to make good decisions, I think, from what I can see.
We hope so.
You guys have done a great job. They're just great people. And Emma is, so do you remember when I went to New York and I took Abby?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
Abby was walking through the streets of New York, and she said she's got to pick up something for Emma.
For Emma, yes.
Right. So she comes back, and she gives Emma a New York City souvenir or whatever. And Emma said
T-shirt.
to me, she said to me, how come you didn't take me? and I didn't know what to say. And
Yes.
I said, Emma, you haven't come of age yet. And she said, What do you mean? What's coming of age? What does that mean? Like, boom. She just wanted to know. But now with your trip to New York, she will not be with you when you go to New York. Because that would be great to rendezvous and see her in the city sometime with Alex. And Alex has been to the city?
Both of them.
Okay.
Yes, and Alex really loved it.
Yeah.
Emma was more the one that
That's
started
right.
thinking, well, it's very expensive. It takes a lot of time to go from point A to
She was
point
overwhelmed
B.
with how big it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she liked it. It's just
Yeah.
that she was thinking through.
Yeah, it'll change now the next time she goes. She'll see it with
Maybe.
a different set of eyes. So in moving to Anchorage, you also have real estate decisions that you have to make all the time. Because if you're living somewhere for 3 or 4 years, you're putting yourself at risk depending upon where you're moving to. Because if you have to move again and you are thinking of purchasing rather than leasing, resale becomes such an important part of the equation. And you've been struggling with that, haven't you, Dave?
Yes, we've been working with a real estate agent in Anchorage, and he's been quite helpful in trying to help us find the right house. We haven't found that house yet, and so
Right.
we're looking through all of our options at this point, and so hopefully we'll be able to figure out pretty soon. But we got a couple months before the family gets there, so we'll have it figured out.
The other thing to consider is moving to Anchorage is no different than moving from here to Washington, D.C. in terms of real estate prices.
Yes. The prices in Anchorage are quite a bit more than Southern Pines. So yes, we look back at that fondly. And of course, Southern Pines was quite a bit more than Mississippi.
Yeah, Mississippi was probably
We were on base.
We were on base in Mississippi, but yes, I mean, every region has different
Yes.
different prices and different costs of living. So-
right. Right. Let's come back in the third set. We're speaking with Dave Meissen and Nico Meissen. Their kids are in school, Alex and Emma, today, but hopefully they'll listen to this show, mom and dad, maybe in a few years when they look back on some of their many stops, and I think it'll actually be a nice keepsake for them. We'll be right back. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to our final set of All Things Moore County, speaking with my friends Dave and Nico Meissen, talking about their transition from Southern Pines to Anchorage, and the 9th move now in 17 years of marriage?
17, yes.
Yep.
17. And my guess is you're not looking forward to another 9 in the next 17 years. Nico?
No.
We've talked about potentially doing one more move after Alaska, and that's we don't want to keep moving.
But
So
yeah, because I don't think I'm going to stay in Alaska. It's
Right.
going to be a nice experience, a nice adventure, but
Right,
who knows? Maybe I'm going to fall in love with Alaska.
right.
Never say never.
that's right.
Your family, Nico, is in Italy, your sister, and
My sister.
she's been here to visit, and
Twice.
so doesn't matter where you live in that, but you have to go back, or she has to come here to visit. But Dave's family is
Yes.
in Illinois,
Yes.
Yes, they are.
and they have kept a very consistent visitation presence, especially with their grandkids.
Yes, my parents are retired now, and so honestly, they try and visit all of us, all the grandkids. I was going to say, because the focus is not on Nico and I at this time. It's on the grandkids. So they visit my brother in Arizona and my
Right.
siblings in Illinois and all their kids.
Since your children are approaching that coming of age stage in their lives, their memories of Southern Pines will be very vivid.
Yes.
More so than any other,
Yes.
even more so than Mississippi, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah. They're going to remember Mississippi, and they spent 4 years in Southern Pines, and
That's right.
it was just 2 in Mississippi or 2, in Florida and so on. So
I agree. I think
yeah.
this will be much more vivid for them. They're going to have a lot of fond memories of
More
North Carolina
memories.
and Southern Pines and the friendships that they've made. So,
Right.
yeah, that'll be good.
And they're gonna, like I said, I think these kind of moves will help them adjust to different changes in their lives, even after they get through high school, when they look back. But with all the moves that you've had, I have to ask you both this question. Dave, if looking back over the 22 years, would you do anything differently? And Nico is looking right square at you.
Well, you're
with a
trying to get
big
me in
smile.
trouble right now.
No, I'm not.
Looking back, I think I would have done it the same way because that's how we got to where we are right now.
Right.
And so I feel there's been a very fortunate series of events to get us to where we are today, and I wouldn't change a thing.
See, that's a good answer. Nico, yours?
The same. Sometimes I might say, I shouldn't go to England. So, but no, it's good. It's all good.
And you also have you've traveled back and forth to Europe a couple of times, even since you've been here for 4 years, and that's something that will continue. But from Anchorage, it might be a little more difficult, huh?
Yes, I was told in the summer to Italy, right? You're talking about? Yeah. There is a straight flight from Anchorage to, I'm not sure where, but just in the summer. So I don't know, but yes, I already, checked the length of the flight. It's long,
You're going to be continuing west from Anchorage, right? You're not going to be coming back over the U.S. and then to Europe.
To go to Europe.
You're halfway around the world.
Yeah, I'm not even smart on that one right now. I'd say it's a long flight.
12, 13 hours.
Yeah, well,
maybe longer.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
Because now it takes me, it's like an 8 hours flight and a 2 hours flight. But, with from Anchorage probably is, I don't know.
We're going to have to research that one a little bit still. So
next summer.
I came over here from Anchorage, and so I flew through Denver to Chicago to Raleigh. And
oh, wow.
It takes a while, even with just a couple hours of layovers.
You couldn't get a flight from Anchorage to JFK and then down to Raleigh?
I could have found connections with just one layover, but the prices worked out this time that it was better for us to do it this way.
Right.
So it's all going to be situational dependent. So.
Are there people that you know in Anchorage now who were here who have moved to Anchorage that you're aware of?
From Fort Bragg, Southern Pines, not right now. Just the couple who were moving from Anchorage. So, but there's people I know from throughout my career who are now in Anchorage, and so after you've been around for a few years, you meet friends wherever you go. So that's actually one of the nice things about the military.
And doesn't as your kids get older, right? Doesn't time go faster? That 2 or 3 years goes like that.
Yes.
That's what she's hoping for, right? I can tell.
Possibly. She may love it there.
Yes. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good experience.
When your kids are in college,
no.
when they are, you're going to look back over your ride, and you're going to say that life was never boring.
True.
Right? And
true. Very true.
There were lots of changes, but look where you've come. I mean, and there will come a time when you're going to stop all the transitions.
Yes.
And settle down somewhere.
Somewhere. Yes.
Right.
It's gonna be nice to know where.
Where do you know where you want to settle down?
No, I mean, no, I really don't know. Part of me would like to, go back to Europe, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because the kids are gonna be here, but then I don't know.
One of the decisions you had to make. It's interesting. When from the time you put your home on the market to sell here, and in a short order where you got a contract. The people who were moving in, either they had to rent a place for 2 or 3 months prior to taking possession, or you as the seller had to rent a place for 2 or 3 months to allow them possession so that your children could finish the school year.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the number one priority.
Yes.
Right? And so you opted as a seller to grant them the possession and to move. And one of the reasons I guess you did was because the military will pack you up and you put things in storage, and than you go and you rent a furnished place.
Yes.
It made sense
Yes.
to do it that way. Although you didn't want to be uprooted, but you also wanted to not be stuck having to move and not having your home sold.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it definitely was difficult, but in the end, after we talk it through, it's just the logical decision to
and
do.
It worked out very good, very well.
Yeah.
So far.
So far. No, it's good. It's good.
So you're downsizing for 60 to 90 days.
Yeah, and that's fine. We're cozy.
Yeah.
We're cozy. We're in one room, 2 rooms.
You
That's
got to
nice.
have that attitude. You were in Anchorage when this home move took place, and it all fell on your wife's shoulders. How did that make you feel? I always wanted to ask you that question.
Well, I listen. I'm very confident that she can do anything she sets her mind to.
Yep.
However, I wanted to be there, and so you're conflicted. So you want to be there and to support your family and to support your spouse. Yeah, we talk a lot, and then I help where I can, but otherwise I know she has it. She's a very capable person.
Yeah.
So
And I had help.
Yep. I agree with you, but I would think that it would have been, if you could rewrite the script, it would have been great to be here, because that's your nature to
Yes.
want to do that.
Oh yes, obviously I would have rather we all be together and we could either stay in one spot or transition to the next together. But
Yeah.
but I get to do all the scouting right now for everything new in Alaska, so it's working out.
Yeah. Well, on a personal note, I have to tell you that I've had the opportunity to get to know both of you, get to know your kids. We've been able to share some things together. You've gotten to know some of my siblings, Nico.
Yes.
And I'm going to miss you. I mean, I will miss you guys. And I was rooting against you transferring and moving, and those things happen, and I guess you just sort of have to, you just deal with it. But I don't think our friendship will end, and I think one of these days I'll come to Alaska.
The door will always be open for you to come to
Yes.
Alaska and visit us. That'd be great. I agree. Appreciate your friendship very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having us on the radio. Hopefully when we listen to it later, we don't sound as bad as I
No.
think I may sound at times on the radio.
It's something that I just think it's a story that people can listen to, and a lot of people can relate to.
Really, yes.
And Nico, I mean, when you met Matt and Cheslin, I asked you this question, and they're, I guess, newlyweds that have been married a couple of years.
So I think they're pretty well.
At a
they've been-
different stage, younger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you can look at them. They don't have kids yet.
No.
And they're at the beginning of maybe transitions that you have already been through. Sort of gives you a different kind of a lens to look through, huh, when you see them?
I guess it takes you back in time.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Make you feel older. But it's a very nice couple, and
Yes.
wish them good luck over here.
Yeah, your chapter is closing here, and theirs is opening.
Yes.
And I saw that, that joy from them, and it was not bittersweet, but you look at things with a different sense of perspective, because you see different groups. They're not generationally different, I guess. Maybe they are, but it's a new beginning for one, and then a transition for the other. And I get to sit there and witness it all, and it's heartfelt. I guess the whole process is heartfelt.
Yes.
But you were fortunate that it was a good rapport with them, and
Oh yes, and and I see them at the gym. That's fun enough.
that's right.
So it went well. Everything went well. So, and actually, it was nice to get to know them. Because we owned the house for
Right.
4 years, and
Right.
that's
They're going to be the new stewards of the home.
Yep.
Yeah, so
in the end, it's a
it's-
hard place to leave. So
Yeah.
you make it your
Yeah.
home. So
Moore County was what you expected, or more than what you expected?
I'd say it was more. I mean, it was more was more.
counting.
Yeah. It was a very nice place to live. It's very family friendly.
Yes.
And
Very easy to go around. You don't have to worry too much about the traffic.
But wouldn't mind coming back, or at least searching for a place that's similar in many ways to this.
Well, I hope on a personal level that actually becomes a possibility, and 3 years will go quickly. Very quickly.
Very quickly, yes. And Alex going to be in college, so I don't want to think about.
Right, how quickly it goes. I want to thank you both for coming on, and I know you'll be finishing out the school year, and we'll have a chance to get together. And I'm glad you came home. You're heading back to Alaska, I guess.
After Easter. Yep.
Right after Easter.
Easter day.
Yeah.
Will we see you back here in North Carolina?
I'll be coming through in June to travel back with the rest of the family.
So you're going to help Matt on this leg of the trip. I'm just
the light part, yeah. After all the heavy lifting's done.
Dave Meissen, thanks for coming and joining us, and Nico Meissen, and we'll get together with Alex and Emma. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who will be getting together with them before they make the move in June.
Yes.
All right.
And it's gonna be school. It's gonna finish, and we're gonna go. So
Okay.
crazy.
Well, I'll get a ticket and stand in that line.
Okay.
It was a pleasure, both you guys, and the best of luck, and we hope that Moore County gets to see you back here in one way or the other. Dorothy?
Yes.
Kind of heartfelt, huh?
Yes, it is.
You get to see the beginning, the middle, and the end of things sometimes. But like Nico said, the friendships that she started here, whether the people live here or are moving on, hopefully 15 or 20 years from now, those will still be friends that they have intact. I think that would be the case here, too.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah, everybody.
Hope so.
It will be. Everybody have a great week. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.